All right, so we're diving deep today into Yann LeCun's vision of the future of AI,
Hmm.
more specifically artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And you guys sent over some really fascinating material, including that YouTube video featuring LeCun himself. And he's the chief AI scientist at Meta. But what I thought was so interesting about this deep dive is that he's not just talking about the latest chatbot craze. He's really looking way ahead, outlining what it would actually take to create machines that can think like us.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that he actually starts by challenging this misconception that we're already on the verge of human-level AI. And he uses this really clever example. He says even a house cat displays more intuition and common sense than the most advanced AI systems we have today.
Oh yeah, that part really got me thinking too. Like, our AI can master chess, compose symphonies, even write code. But something as seemingly simple as, clearing the dinner table remains a monumental challenge for these systems.
Well, yeah, and it all boils down to what's called the Moravec Paradox. It's this idea that things humans find easy, like, recognizing faces or navigating a cluttered room, those are surprisingly difficult for AI to replicate. But on the other hand, tasks that we perceive as complex, like, crunching massive data sets or playing Go at a championship level, those are relatively easy for AI to master.
Hmm. So it really highlights these fundamental differences, right,
Hmm.
between biological brains and the artificial neural networks that we're currently building. So according to LeCun, if we want to achieve true AGI, we need kind of a fundamental shift in our approach.
Hmm.
And one key element that he emphasizes is the type and amount of data that we use to train AI.
Right, and he throws out this mind-boggling comparison. So the largest language models today are trained on an amount of text data that would take a human 350,000 years to read. But in just the first 4 years of life, a human child processes a comparable amount of visual data just by observing the world around them.
Wow. So what he's saying here, are we supposed to ditch text altogether and just show AI a bunch of videos?
Well, not quite. But he does make this compelling case for incorporating richer multimodal data like video into AI training. So, simply throwing more text at the problem, he argues, won't be enough to bridge the gap between current AI capabilities and true human-level intelligence.
Okay, so we need to rethink the type of data we feed AI. But he also takes it a step further, right? He talks about the need for a whole new AI architecture, which he calls objective-driven AI.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. So LeCun argues that, current AI systems are primarily reactive. They learn to recognize patterns and respond to inputs, but they lack this deeper understanding of goals and intentions. Objective-driven AI, on the other hand, would be built around this concept of achieving objectives, much like how humans plan and strategize.
So instead of just reacting to stimuli, this AI would be able to imagine future scenarios, set goals, and take actions to achieve those goals,
Mhm.
even in novel and unforeseen situations.
Precisely. Think of it like this. A chess-playing AI today can calculate millions of moves, but it's ultimately limited by the rules of the game and the data it's been trained on. An objective-driven AI, however, could learn to understand the strategic goals of chess, like controlling the center of the board or developing its pieces, and adapt its strategy accordingly, even against an opponent using unconventional tactics.
That sounds like a huge leap forward, but is there any, concrete example of how this objective-driven AI would work in practice?
Well, he actually points to a project from Meta that he believes embodies this approach, and it's called VJPA, which stands for Joint Embedding Predictive Architecture.
VJP, okay.
Mhm.
Break that down for me a bit. What's so special about it?
Well, it's an open source AI project which is significant in itself. And it's trained on video data which aligns with LeCun's emphasis on these richer data sources. But the really fascinating part is how it learns. So imagine the AI is watching a movie and trying to guess what happens next. Not just in terms of individual frames, but in terms of the underlying actions and intentions of the characters. That's essentially how VGPA learns, by predicting missing parts of the video sequence based on an understanding of the unfolding story.
Oh, wow. So instead of being force-fed millions of labeled images, it's learning more like a human child by observing and trying to make sense of the world.
Exactly. And what's truly impressive is its efficiency. Unlike current AI systems that require mountains of data, VGPA can grasp new concepts with just a few examples, demonstrating a learning process that's much closer to how humans learn.
This is all starting to sound like a recipe for creating AI that's not just more intelligent, but also more adaptable and maybe even, dare I say, more creative.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of LeCun's vision, the role of open source development in shaping the future of AI.
Right, and he seems very passionate about that. He argues that open source AI platforms are essential, not just for technological advancement, but for something even bigger, the preservation of democracy itself.
Yeah, he makes a very compelling argument. He says that if only a handful of large corporations control the development and deployment of AGI, we risk ending up with AI that reflects only their values and priorities, potentially leading to unintended consequences and even exacerbating existing social inequalities. Open source AI, on the other hand, allows for a more democratic and inclusive approach, where a diverse community of researchers, developers, and users can contribute to shaping this powerful technology.
So it's not just about building better AI, it's about building AI that's aligned with human values and benefits all of society,
Yeah,
not just a select few.
absolutely. And open source development plays a crucial role in achieving that goal.
This is all incredibly thought-provoking. But before we get too carried away with the possibilities, LeCun is also quick to remind us that achieving true AGI is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
He doesn't foresee the sudden singularity moment, where AI suddenly surpasses human intelligence. Instead, he envisions this gradual evolution, a long journey of discovery and refinement, likely spanning years or even decades.
So no robot overlords tomorrow. But the implications of this journey are profound. We're essentially talking about creating a new form of intelligence, one that could potentially reshape every aspect of our world. Now, one of the most fascinating implications that LeCun explores is the rise of AI assistants. These virtual companions that could revolutionize how we work, learn, and interact with the world.
It's a truly mind-blowing concept. Imagine having a team of incredibly capable AI assistants, personalized to your specific needs and goals, helping you with everything from managing your schedule and finances to brainstorming creative ideas and learning new skills.
It's almost like having a virtual staff, working around the clock to amplify your productivity and free up your time for more meaningful pursuits. But it also raises some very important questions about the potential social and economic impacts of such a transformation.
Absolutely. If everyone has access to these powerful AI assistants, how will that change the dynamics of the workforce? Will it lead to greater economic equality or exacerbate existing disparities? And how will it affect our relationships and social structures?
These are questions we need to grapple with now as we lay the groundwork for this AI-powered future.
And that brings us to another critical aspect of LeCun's vision that we need to explore further, the issue of AI safety and controllability. How do we ensure that these incredibly powerful AI systems, particularly as they approach human-level intelligence, remain aligned with our values and goals? How do we prevent unintended consequences and ensure that AI remains a tool for good?
These are some pretty weighty questions, and it seems like LeCun has some very specific ideas about how to address them.
He does, and they challenge some of the prevailing narratives around AI risk and control. We'll delve deeper into those ideas in the next part of our deep dive. It's fascinating to contrast LeCun's perspective on AI safety with some of the more alarmist voices we hear, in the media and even from prominent figures in tech. There's this narrative, that super intelligent AI is an existential threat, something to be feared and potentially even controlled before it's too late.
Yeah, it's almost like a science fiction trope at this point. This idea that AI will inevitably become self-aware, turn against its creators, and wreak havoc on humanity.
Exactly. But LeCun doesn't buy into that doomsday scenario. He actually sees the potential for AGI to be a force for good, a powerful tool for solving some of the world's most pressing problems.
But he doesn't dismiss the risks entirely, right? I mean, there's clearly potential for misuse or unintended consequences, even if the AI itself isn't inherently malicious.
Right. His argument is more nuanced than that. He acknowledges the risks, but he believes they stem not from some inherent evil in AI, but from the choices we make as humans in designing and deploying these systems.
So it's not about the AI turning evil. It's about us potentially using AI for evil purposes or failing to anticipate the full range of consequences.
Precisely, and he uses this rather thought-provoking analogy to illustrate this point. Imagine he says that we task a powerful AI with the seemingly innocuous goal of maximizing paperclip production. If we're not careful about how we define that goal and the constraints we put in place, the AI might just decide that the most efficient way to achieve its objective is to turn the entire planet into a giant paperclip factory, consuming all available resources in the process.
Okay, that's a pretty vivid image. And a little unsettling, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I see his point. We can't just assume that AI will automatically share our values or understand the complexities of the real world. We need to be very deliberate and thoughtful about how we align AI's goals with human values.
Exactly, and this brings us back to his emphasis on open source AI development. He sees this as a crucial safeguard against the concentration of power and the potential for AI to be used for narrow, self-serving interests.
It's like a checks and balances system for AI development,
Yeah.
ensuring that a diversity of perspectives and values are incorporated into the process.
Precisely, open source fosters collaboration, transparency, and accountability, making it much harder for any one group or ideology to dominate the development of AGI and steer it in a potentially harmful direction.
Now, one of the things that really struck me in LeCun's talk was his focus on the importance of training AI on video data. He seems convinced that this is a key ingredient for developing AI that possesses something akin to human common sense.
It's a crucial point and one that often gets overlooked in the rush to build ever larger language models. LeCun argues that text data alone, no matter how vast, simply can't capture the richness and complexity of the real world. And he draws a parallel to human infants who learn so much about the world just by observing it through their senses, particularly vision.
It's like he's saying that we've been trying to teach AI to understand the world through this narrow straw, feeding it bits and pieces of text without giving it the full sensory experience that shapes human understanding.
Exactly. And that's why he sees video data as such a game changer. It provides a much richer and more immersive representation of the world, allowing AI to learn not just from words and concepts, but from the dynamics of actions, interactions, and the physical environment.
But it goes beyond just recognizing objects and actions, right? He seems to believe that video data can help AI develop this deeper understanding of causality, intentionality, and even the underlying goals and motivations of the people and objects it observes.
Exactly. This gets to the heart of his concept of objective-driven AI. Imagine an AI watching a video of someone preparing a meal. A current AI system might be able to identify the ingredients, utensils, and actions involved, but an objective-driven AI would be able to infer the underlying goal of the activity, to create a delicious and nourishing meal.
So it's not just about processing information. It's about understanding the why behind the actions, the intentions and motivations that drive human behavior. And that level of understanding seems crucial for developing AI that can truly assist us in meaningful ways, not just as tools, but as partners in problem solving and creativity.
Absolutely. And this brings us back to that fundamental shift in perspective that LeCun is advocating for. He's not just talking about building smarter AI. He's talking about building AI that's more human-like in its ability to learn, reason, and interact with the world.
It's almost like the difference between building a calculator and building a companion. One can crunch numbers, but the other can understand your needs, anticipate your desires, and even challenge your assumptions, helping you grow and evolve in the process.
That's a beautiful analogy, and it highlights the importance of not just intelligence, but also empathy, intuition, and the ability to connect with humans on a deeper level. LeCun's vision is not just about creating AI that can solve problems. It's about creating AI that we can trust, collaborate with, and maybe even learn from.
It's a really inspiring vision and one that challenges us to think beyond the hype and fear that often surround discussions of AI. But it also raises some practical questions. If this is the long-term goal, what are the next steps? What are the key challenges that need to be addressed to make this vision a reality?
Well, LeCun certainly doesn't shy away from the challenges, and he outlines a few key areas where he believes significant progress needs to be made. One of the biggest hurdles he identifies is developing more robust and efficient learning algorithms, particularly those that can learn from limited data, similar to how humans learn from a relatively small number of examples.
That seems crucial, especially if we want to move beyond relying on these massive data sets that are often expensive and time-consuming to acquire.
Exactly, and he also emphasizes the need for new approaches to AI architecture, moving beyond the current deep learning paradigms towards systems that are more modular, adaptable, and capable of reasoning about goals and intentions. He sees this as essential for creating AI that can truly understand and navigate the complexities of the real world, rather than just excelling in narrow, predefined tasks.
So it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making it more flexible, adaptable, and resilient, more like the human brain in its ability to learn and evolve.
And that brings us to another area where LeCun sees significant challenges: the development of more sophisticated methods for evaluating and assessing AI systems, particularly as they approach human-level capabilities. How do we measure not just intelligence, but also common sense creativity and ethical reasoning? How do we ensure that these systems are aligned with human values and operate safely and reliably in complex and unpredictable environments? These are questions that will require new frameworks for evaluation, new benchmarks for success, and a deeper understanding of the interplay between intelligence, consciousness, and ethics.
It sounds like there's still a lot of work to be done, but also a tremendous amount of potential for groundbreaking discoveries and innovations. Now, I'm curious, given all that we've discussed, what stands out to you as the most exciting or potentially transformative aspect of LeCun's vision?
That's a great question. And it's hard to choose just one aspect because his vision is so holistic and interconnected.
Hmm.
But if I had to pick, I'd say it's his unwavering belief in the power of AI to amplify human potential, to augment our abilities and help us solve problems that have long seemed intractable. He sees AI not as a replacement for human intelligence, but as a powerful complement to it, a tool for expanding our horizons and creating a future where humans and machines work together to build a better world.
That's a powerful and hopeful vision.
Mhm.
And speaking of a better world, he also talks quite a bit about the potential for AI to contribute to solutions for some of the major challenges facing humanity, like climate change, poverty, and disease.
Yes, he sees AI playing a crucial role in those areas. He talks about the potential for AI-powered systems to optimize energy consumption, develop personalized healthcare solutions, and even create new materials and technologies that could transform industries and improve the quality of life for millions of people.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. And it's clear that LeCun's vision is not just about technological advancement for its own sake. It's about using that technology to address real-world problems and create a more just and sustainable future. Now, as we delve into the final part of this deep dive, I'm eager to explore one particular aspect of LeCun's vision that has profound implications for all of us: the rise of AI assistants and how these virtual companions could reshape every aspect of our lives.
You know, one thing that struck me is how LeCun's vision of AI assistance is so different from what we usually see in, science fiction. It's not about these humanoid robots or disembodied voices that like take over our lives. It's something much more integrated and personalized.
Oh. Yes, less about robots and more about
Yeah.
like augmenting our own capabilities. We're almost like having an extension of our own minds,
Yeah.
helping us think better, learn faster, create more effectively.
Precisely. He uses this really intriguing phrase, amplified humans. And I think that really captures the idea that AI won't replace us, but instead will enhance our innate abilities.
Yeah, amplified humans. I love that. It's so much more empowering than all those dystopian scenarios we always hear about. But can you paint a picture for us of like what this might actually look like in everyday life?
Okay, so imagine you're working on this complex project, and your AI assistant is not just like scheduling meetings or fetching documents, but it's actually brainstorming alongside you, suggesting ideas, connecting seemingly disparate concepts, even anticipating potential roadblocks before they arise.
So it's almost like having a superpowered research partner who can process information at lightning speed and make connections that our human brains might miss.
Exactly. And it goes way beyond work, too. Like, imagine learning a new language, and your AI assistant is tailoring the lessons to your specific learning style, providing real-time feedback on your pronunciation, and even simulating conversations with you to boost your confidence.
Wow.
Or let's say you're planning a trip. Your AI assistant not only books your flights and accommodations, but curates a personalized itinerary based on your interests, your budget, even your dietary preferences.
This is starting to sound like a level of personalization and efficiency that we can only dream of today.
Okay.
But it also makes me wonder about, the potential downsides. Like if we become so reliant on these AI assistants, are we going to lose some of our own skills and abilities? Will we become less creative, less independent, less human?
That's a really crucial question, and one that LeCun actually acknowledges head on. He argues that the key to preventing this kind of atrophy is to design AI assistants that empower us, not replace us. He emphasizes the importance of transparency and control, allowing users to understand how the AI is working, adjust its parameters, and even override its suggestions when necessary.
So it's not about just blindly following the AI's recommendations. It's about having a collaborative partnership where we retain agency and continue to develop our own skills.
Exactly. He even suggests that AI assistants could be designed to specifically encourage us to step outside of our comfort zones, to explore new ideas, and push the boundaries of our own creativity.
Well, that's interesting. So instead of making us passive consumers, AI could actually become a catalyst for personal growth and development. But, this level of sophistication and personalization also raises another question. What about access and equity? Will everyone have access to these powerful AI assistants, or will they just become another tool for exacerbating existing social and economic divides?
Yeah, that's a critical concern, and it's one that LeCun definitely doesn't shy away from. He argues that AI assistants should be seen as a public good, something that benefits all of society, not just a privileged few. And he advocates for policies and initiatives that promote widespread access to AI education and training, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to participate in this technological revolution.
So it's not just about developing the technology. It's about creating a social and economic infrastructure that ensures equitable access and prevents AI from becoming just another tool for widening the gap between the haves and have-nots.
Precisely. And it also highlights the importance of addressing potential biases in AI systems.
Yeah.
If these assistants are trained on data that reflects existing social inequalities, they could perpetuate or even amplify those biases, leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Yeah, that's a really sobering thought. It really underscores the importance of not just technical expertise, but also ethical awareness and a commitment to social justice in the development and deployment of AI.
Absolutely. LeCun stresses that AI should be developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity,
Mhm.
not just a select few. And that means actively addressing issues of bias, fairness, and accessibility.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Yann LeCun's vision of AGI, what are some of the key takeaways that our listeners should be pondering?
Well, first of all, I think we need to ditch the Hollywood dystopia. LeCun is presenting a future where AI, especially through these personalized assistants, could really profoundly enhance our lives, making us more efficient, more creative, and more empowered.
And second, we can't just focus on building smarter AI. We need to make it more human-like in its ability to understand goals, learn from limited data, and adapt to complex situations.
And finally, the development of AGI shouldn't happen behind closed doors. Open source collaboration, ethical considerations, and equitable access, those are all crucial to ensuring that this powerful technology truly benefits all of humanity.
It's a vision of the future that's both exciting and challenging. It's filled with possibilities and potential pitfalls. And as LeCun himself emphasizes, the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we create together through our choices, our values, and our collective imagination.
So as you all continue to explore the world of AI, I think it's really important to keep LeCun's vision in mind. Challenge the assumptions, question the narratives, and contribute to shaping a future where AI empowers us to build a better world for ourselves and for generations to come.